Welcome back to The Factor. South by Southwest has officially kicked off in Austin, Texas last Friday, and it's still going strong. And the Factor team was there. We came across New York Times best-selling author Chip Conley, the founder and CEO of Modern Elder Academy. He says he's on a mission to prove the midlife crisis isn't all bad. Let's take a listen.
Chip, obviously from the turnout, there is a serious need for this conversation when we talk about a midlife crisis. Many people, as you said, take it as a joke. So how do you get them to see it as a serious topic and issue?
Yeah, I think of the midlife crisis as really as a chrysalis. And if you think about the caterpillar to butterfly journey, midlife for the butterfly is that cocoon. And yes, it's dark and gooey, but it's also where the transformation happens. So many of the things that people are going through in midlife are normal, but we think that we're like somehow getting the game of life wrong because we don't talk about it. So midlife can be the most transformative era of adulthood. We just need to help people with the roadmap so they understand how to do that.
And when we talk about the difference of a midlife crisis between men and women, is there a difference?
There's definitely
how they handle it?
There's definitely a difference between men and women. Women tend to feel invisible around age 50, and men tend to feel irrelevant. And the 50s are struggling with those two things. Men feeling irrelevant and women feeling invisible. On the other hand, women actually feel more confident in their careers in their 50s than they did earlier, whereas men start to feel a plateauing. So in either case, being together, reading a book like Learning to Love Midlife or going to the Modern Elder Academy, MEA, is a way to actually address this and get to know, like, oh, I'm not alone in this.
And for those who may be struggling to deal with that midlife crisis and they don't know what to do, besides picking up your book, what would be your best advice, the first step if they're dealing with that crisis?
Is to talk to people about it, because you're not alone. There are a lot of transitions that happen in midlife, and somehow we feel like, oh my gosh, I'm not doing life properly, when in fact there's other people who may be going through the same thing you're going through. And wisdom is not taught, it's shared. So sharing wisdom with other people who are going through this is very valuable. So it might be your best friend, might be your spouse, it might be a family member, but talk about it.
When you first wrote your book and you started doing tours around the country, meeting people, did you realize there was such a need and that you're having quite the impact for them?
Well, I think what I realized in my late 40s was I was struggling. And I lost 5 male friends to suicide. And then I got into my 50s and I loved it. And my 50s were spectacular. I was like, wow, that's weird. 40s were bad, 50s were great. I don't know what's going on here. So as I started to study it, I realized the U-curve of happiness means that people actually get happier after age 50. But not many people know that.
Right.
And so what I've been seeing as I've been giving speeches and writing the book and creating the academy is that people are really curious about this because they want hope in their life.
And Chip's book is Learning to Love Midlife, and you can find that anywhere. All week long, we'll be sharing more coverage from South by Southwest. Be sure to tune in for that. In the meantime, we'll continue this discussion about midlife crisis after the break, and always keep it here on The Factor.